Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening to you all out there watching from the different parts of the world. We are here in Germany, and it is 8 p.m. German time. So I greet you watching from Cameroon, from the United States of America, wherever you're watching from. I send you my greetings and my love. I appreciate you particularly for taking out your time, and remember, each time you are here, you're giving us the gift of a time, a very, very precious gift, and nothing is as precious as that gift. You're welcome to the Sunpon Global TV, and today we are having a very dynamic conversation with our business woman of the week. And today we are going to be talking about from consumer to producer, the path of courage. You will know by now that, of course, dreaming is no longer the problem. Dream big. How often have you heard this? Dream big and dream, right? But today I want to challenge you to know that the dreaming is no longer the problem. Neither procrastination is the challenge, or again, the lack of money. Because many people say, oh, I didn't have money, so I could not do business. The lady we are having today will tell you, no, money should not be the problem. And I say, the problem is the lack of courage. Courage to dare. Courage is the single most important virtue you need to make that very dream come to pass. Let's take the case of Christians. Courage is a very, very important instrument for you to even live a righteous and a holy life. Courage is that very, very important instrument that you may need to be able to start up that business that you have been thinking all over again and again. And you know what? It is courage that will make you share the link with your friends, because not everyone is proud and courageous enough to share the link. So I dare you to share the link with your friends and, of course, with everyone. Why? We welcome the woman of the week. We have every week a businesswoman or businessman of the week that we choose, and these people we choose because of their excellency in whatever they do, and particularly because they dare to do the things that they do. Welcome with me our woman of the week, the business woman of the week, Leah Dittmann. Leah, you're welcome. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's always a privilege for me to have amazing people that do amazing works and who started from nothing to something. I'm so curious to know about your story. And before we get into that conversation, I want to appreciate you for the gifts. I received my spices, and three of them rice, gewürz, and then I got the ones for the vegans, and of
Mhm.
course, I also got the one for meat. So this is to tell us that Aliyah is also producing spices, and that's why the conversation is from consumer to producer. And I know, Leah, that you do a lot in the business of cooking, in the business of serving people. You're joyfully giving food to people. And I see most of the time your pictures when you are serving people, the joy of it one can see all over your face, like that of Stephen in the Bible. Somehow they said he was so full of the anointing that even the serving of his food was a blessing to the people. When I look at your pictures and how you serve the people, I feel that everyone will want to eat your food. And that's why I'm particularly grateful for having my spices. Thank you very much.
You're
You're
most
welcome to our program today, ma'am. Tell us a little more about yourself. Who is this Leah Dittmann? And what has your business got to do with courage?
So thank you so much, Vera, one more time. Thank you. This is the second time that I'm in your show. I'm really, really grateful. And for those who don't know me, my name is Leah Dittmann, aka Dream Chaser. It takes courage to say I'm the Dream Chaser. I don't take this moment for granted to say that this is my name. I chose to rename myself last year because I realized there is something that has always been there that I'm trying to chase. I'm the CEO of Jumbo African Dishes, Jumbo Swag. Jumbo Swag is a fashion line, and since 4 weeks now, almost 6 weeks, I think 6 weeks, I founded Leah Finest Spices. I'm having spices in the market very soon, but meanwhile, you can get them online. So that's who I am. I'm the lady behind those three things. And I'm so glad to have this topic today because it also takes courage to let people know who you are. Nobody's going to define you. You have to do this. And for you to do this, you need courage. And so, Vera, I'm so glad that this is what we are talking about today. I'm so glad to be the one to be speaking about it today. Let's do it. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. Thank you, ma'am. You say you call yourself the dream chaser. Of course,
Yeah.
you deserve it. And I think that we should be able to give ourselves the names that we want to see and those names that are inspiring. Before we get to our conversation proper, I would like to welcome those who are here watching from YouTube as well as from Facebook. Thank you for being there for us. Please share the link with friends because the conversation today can be a blessing and inspiring to somebody to change maybe their mindset and help them also get into, of course, business as well. Or again, chase their own dreams so that they can fulfill the purpose for which they are born. Ma'am, let's go into the conversation. Tell me in your own words, what does that mean, courage? The path of courage. What's that courage?
Mm, I think personally, I would say courage is that you wanting to let the people know that what is in you, bringing your inner you to the outside.
Mhm,
When people get to know who you are, you stand on
mhm,
that.
mhm,
Like your personality, you know yourself, but how do you
mhm,
bring it to the people? For you to define yourself, it takes courage. Like I would say that is the courage to bring that what is in you to the outside, the inner you to the outside. I would say
mhm,
this is courage for me.
mhm, mhm.
Yes.
Angelo, Dr. Angelo, late Dr. Angelo Mayo said something like this. She said, courage is the only most important virtue that one can ever have because without courage, you cannot do any other thing consistently. You
But that-
may do things erratically, but not consistently and not
Mhm.
correct. So, and she goes further to say, courage is really that one thing that we all need. You know, before I used to think that the only one thing that we need is the Holy Spirit of God or is God Himself. Now, when she wrote this book and said you need courage, then I understood also, of course, remember the story of Joshua. For those who read the Bible, there is a man called Joshua, and he was succeeding a very powerful master. His master was Moses, that had a very good and dynamic relationship with his God, and he was learning from the best. And when he passed on, he had all the tools, he had all the skills, he had all the abilities. I mean, physically, intellectually. Yet, a word came up. God told him, be only brave and courageous. And when I read this, I was asking, but wait a minute. If he has all the skills, he has all the leaderships, he has learned from the best, why did God say be brave and courageous?
Just, yeah.
Then something must be about courage. So, how far has this courage brought you?
The courage has brought me really far. Where I am today, it's courage. I can say this because I would say the biggest step in my life that I would really say was really courage was quitting my job 2019 in October, a job that I was
Mm-hmm.
doing really well. Just to say I'm taking this step of courage to say that I want to get into the business world and see what it has to offer. When you take this courageous step, I think personally, you get to heights that you could never have imagined. And that's exactly where I am right now. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
place where I'm just looking and thinking all I want right now is God.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say courage. The question was, I feel like I don't want to get out of the box because I have so much to say. I was even, my husband
You
asked
can
me,
get
how long is
out of the
this?
box. This is our conversation. Get out of the box. Come back into the box and do how you want. Most importantly, let us know how far your courage brought us. Why should we have courage?
Courage has brought me far. Because of courage, I started the jumbo dishes, the jumbo African dishes, just to come out there and say you are offering food to the public is not anything easy. There is a lot that goes with food. You know this, you must have eaten somewhere, gotten sick. There are people who ate wrong food, got poisoned, they lost their lives. Just to take this step and say, I'm courageous, I stand up there and say, hey, this is our food, let's eat it. And, there's the other day that I was just looking and reminding myself the dangers of selling like food and somebody gets sick, goes to the doctor, and the doctor says the food was not right. How much money stands behind the fine that you're going to be fined when you are wrong? And I said, this is so courageous, like to just give people food and go to bed and sleep. I don't know. I would say courage has brought me really far. There are things that I have today. I think if I never had the courage, I would not have them. I would not own them. There are places that I've gone today that if I never had this courage, I would never visited. There are people that I connect to today. There are people that I've met today. I've had a chance to sit with a millionaire and a billionaire. And it's not while I was employed, it's in the business world that I would say, were it not for my courage, I would not have met these people. So I would really say courage has brought me far. It's making me grow every day. It's taking away fear, because once you have courage, fear starts to diminish.
Mm-hmm.
These two things never work together.
So you say fear and courage never works together.
Never.
I remember when someone told me, and I was having this conversation with somebody, and she said, Vera, you know what? The fear is always there anyway, but what makes a difference is I see the fear, but my message is so powerful that the courage pushes me to talk about it, to see that thing that's so important than my fear. So the
It's
fear is there, will always surely be there, but the message is more powerful. What was the message you wanted to pass to the world through your jumbo African dishes, or again the spices? What is the message behind your product?
Vera, there's something that I say. We came to Germany, we have to learn the language, which
Mm-hmm.
is that's for everybody. If you want to fit in, I think the very best thing is first to get to know the people, get to like them. I think
Mm-hmm.
it will make your life much easier, which is
Mm-hmm.
also courage. To come to Germany took us courage.
Mm-hmm.
To a country where going to the UK, the US is another thing. You arrive, you speak higher, but coming here is something totally different. And when I came here, I think it took some time where I asked myself, why am I in Germany? Why was I not in another country? Why am I not in Kenya? Why am I here? And what am I doing in Germany? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and just being employed, I don't know. There was a bit, I don't know how to put this. Let me first go a bit back so that I can bring in this what I wanted to show the world. It's
Mm-hmm.
6 years now that I went back to school as a mother of two. I went to do foreign language correspondence where I did my French, my Spanish, my German, and my English again. And it took me 3.5 years, almost 4 years to complete. And my husband paid a lot of money. After that, I got a job in a French company, and we were all very happy because I earned very well. But as time went by, that's when I introduced the jumbo African dishes, because I used to serve my colleagues with lunch. And it started with one Friday where I wrote an email, 10 people replied and said, Leah, Friday, I'm taking lunch. The next week, there were more and more. When they got to 40, I got my first food truck. But before that, there is something that I used to ask myself every single day. I went to work. I love my bosses. They are still my bosses today. I serve every Monday 150 people breakfast. Every single Monday. Now that we have the pandemic, no, because it's closed, but that I do. So they remain to be my bosses, and they know they are backing me. Actually, they call me when they have events to come and do catering for them. And there is something that I used to ask myself every day. This is a French company. The founders are in France. This is something that two twins came up with and ground. They built this, and it's all over 26 countries now. But who am I as an individual? Because I believe everybody has a purpose in this world. Everybody, every single person. I don't know how many people we are. I believe 80 billion. I was asking my husband today, and I told him, how is God so great that nobody has your fingerprints? Nobody. How great is this? That means everybody is different, and there is that what you carry in you. Just because you don't speak maybe the language so well does not mean that you're a minority. And I used to tell myself, why can't you do something that you'll do perfectly fine? And that's when I got to the food. I thought, if I'm going to carry the African banner high through food, I'm going to do this. There's a time I got, they were looking for somebody to cook in the business lounge for Lufthansa, and I thought, let me apply. They called me, and the lady asked me, can you send me your papers? I said, I have no papers, because I never went to school to learn cooking. I'm a man-made cook. I learned how to cook by myself. I used to see how my mommy did it, our maids did it, and that's how I came up. The government never asked me, where did you learn cooking? And I thought, if nobody is asking me this, then why can't I? And with the help of God, because He has also really helped me a lot. I think what I wanted to show the world is that we can do something. Despite the fact that I come from Africa, maybe I don't speak the language really good, which I do. I believe my German is not bad. But I really felt it's important for me being here as an ambassador, because that's what I call myself. I need to bring something, just bringing Africa close to Europe as much as I can, as an individual. Because I believe everybody has a purpose. And this is something that I find the topic to be very good. How courageous are you to speak about yourself? How courageous are you to make people understand who you are? Because you're somebody. Just because you came to a place where maybe, or you live in a society where people really don't trust, don't believe in you, you still have to keep fighting. It also takes courage to stand up and say, I'm doing it one more time. You might have failed. I did business before. I gave all my things for free. You know, my mom started me a small business, and it was, I think 3 months later, it was down because I'd given out everything. I thought dashing was good. And so I learned. And I never said I'm not going to try it one more time in a foreign country, because I failed before. It also takes courage to say, I did it, but it never worked. This time I'm starting again. And it can fail a second time. It doesn't matter. It takes courage to say, I'm not giving up. I'm going to fight until I get there.
So we will say that if I hear what you say, I would say courage is therefore the ability to strive even in the midst of all
Yes.
the odds that are there. So courage is the ability to keep forging further no matter the difficulties,
Yep.
no matter the challenges, no matter the fears, no matter the circumstances.
Oh,
And so if
yes.
we look at also the example we just gave before, the example of Joshua, okay, he's
Mhm.
not a woman, but let's take the example of Joshua, where God precisely told him, be thou only brave and courageous. Would it mean that this character, the gift, skills, the virtue of bravery and courage is one of the keys, the principal keys to succeed in business?
I would say yes.
How?
Vera, the market is very challenging. Not only the market, even at your working place, it's all you need. You can be in a place where people mistreat you and you never talk. I don't know. I think this courage is the key thing. I think you need it. It's everything that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I actually feel sad sometimes when I look at some. You know, sometimes I talk to our Bürgermeister, our MP, and I was asking him, can I help the women around this area that don't speak German? Can I
Mm-hmm.
speak on their behalf? Because they are not stupid. But how I pray that everybody can just sit one day and get to herself and say, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Mm-hmm.
can speak, then do it, because also action speak too. You can fail to talk, but you do courage. You know, it's like just sitting somewhere and you feel irritated and you stand up and go. That's being courageous too.
Mm-hmm.
And just to sit somewhere, you are not comfortable, you're not talking, you're not doing anything about it. That means you cannot change anything. And
Mm-hmm.
this action, be it verbally or like you take an action, it's courage. And I think this is something that we really did, especially for we in the diaspora, because
Mm-hmm.
that's where I am right now. But I believe even in Kenya and Cameroon, people watching us, this is
Mm-hmm.
something that we need in our everyday life, but we experience it more in a foreign country, because this is a place where we are all alone. We left home because we want to come here and change the story, you know, build a legacy. And then you
Mm-hmm.
come to a place you're disappointed. People have turned into drugs. People are depressed. People are disappointed. They don't know where, you know. But I believe the inner you, when you listen to yourself and you still feel there is something you want to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
you need to do something about it. And this is where the courage comes in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Leah. We have regular fans that are here, on people backing us up, and I want to recognize the presence of Ino Magi. She's also an amazing woman doing
Yes.
business in her small level, but amazing. We want to recognize the presence of Mr. Yemle Pius. That's my dad. Thank you, Dad,
Oh,
for watching from Cameroon. I want to recognize the presence of Millie. And of course, I want to also recognize the presence of Batemona Abeke, who just said something to what you said. Abeke said, please let us know where you are based or where you can save, because you said you wanted to talk with the mayor, the Bürgermeister, concerning the women. And if I may use this platform again, Mrs. Abeke or Batemona Abeke, like she would want me to always say, came up to with an amazing concept called awareness gegen Rassismus. And
oh,
so she's doing an amazing job also in Köln. And she, of course, will want to train everybody in the world so that they have the awareness and they themselves become teachers. So it's that kind of a
nice.
strong training program that can go everywhere. So I'm sure that the next one will be coming up soon, and I'm very convinced that it could be something good also for you to join
Mhm.
the pool of awareness trainers so that you can also. I think that when we start doing business, then we are all around. We do business all around, and then
Wow, yeah,
you
right.
just get in touch, and we will give the contact details for those who are watching us. But tell us a little more. Where are you and where can you serve?
At the moment, as we live in Weiterstadt, it's not far from, many people know Frankfurt. We live like 15 minutes away from the
I
Frankfurt.
thought about it. When you said Weiterstadt, it rang something in my mind, but I was a little skeptical. Okay,
Yeah, it's
around
near
Hessen.
Frankfurt, 15 minutes away from the Frankfurt airport. And I think I would serve anywhere. Physically, I think I wouldn't mind around or maybe up to 200 kilometers. But if it has to be like on Zoom or anything, anywhere. I would
Mhm.
like to just be a voice of those people who I really know, because I know a lot of people, just because they came in here, they can't speak the language. You end up getting kids and then you can't work the way you maybe want, but you still have a dream. And for
Mm,
this dream to manifest, sometimes you have to activate, not sometimes, you have to activate this courageous part of you, that the
mm.
kids will grow, they'll go to the kindergarten, and then here you stand again, your dreams are still valid, you know? And I
And
thought
you
maybe I
stand
could,
again, and your dreams are still valid.
yes, they are. Yeah.
Powerful. Mm. Okay, I'm putting for you, Miss Batemonia Beke. I got the emails contact. Please, you can get the contact Leah Olympio at
Mhm.
gmail.com. So you can get in touch with her. And Millie is saying, yes, that is Weiterstadt in Darmstadt.
Yeah. Not
Exactly.
far.
I also was in Darmstadt. That's where I did my German language class.
Ah,
So exactly, but I don't know much again. That's almost like 14 or 15 years that I've not been there again. But yes, I did my language in Darmstadt. So Millie, we know ourselves, those who have been in Darmstadt
it's about
before.
10 minutes away from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and so we are coming back to the conversation of courage. Before getting into the conversation, hey, share the link with friends, and maybe after this, others can watch to know and understand the power of courage. Leah, we titled the conversation today saying that from consumer to producer, the
Mhm.
path of courage. Tell us more from the aspect of consuming. What were you consuming and what drove you to produce?
Mm. But it's not the spice aspect, or just
Yes, I think it's more also in the spice aspect. You have been consuming because you do a lot of you do the cooking, which is an amazing stuff, and you have been using different spices, and today you are now producing your own spices. Did I get that correct?
yes. Actually, let me tell you what came up with the spice. Initially, last year in September, October, I thought the lockdown might go down, like we'll be free. We can meet again and eat together. I wanted to launch my cooking book. But then from the places where I wanted to do it, I was told, yeah, we might postpone this to next year because I don't think we can gather a lot of people. So what came into my mind is, why can't you do the spices? And why I came to the spices is because I cook. And at the very beginning, I used to take spices from Kenya. But then during the COVID time, flights were not coming in and all this. And I thought to myself, so are you going to stop cooking just because there's a lockdown? And I thought to myself, why can't you start up something new? And that's when I came up with the Leah's Finest. And that's why I never called them African spices, because those are my finest spices. I mixed them. You must have seen what I mixed, like for the beef. We are not using stuff like sugar. We have no conservatives, no aroma, nothing. It's just natural spices. Why I came up with this idea is because I thought to myself, a lot of people come. 99.9% of my clients are Germans. I have this 1% of Kenyans, Africans who order a few stuff up, pick up some stuff once in a while. But 99, I would say the biggest percentage is the European side. And normally they say, I liked your chicken last week. How did you do it? And I used to tell them top secret, top secret. I never thought at any one time I would ever tell anybody how I cook my food. And I think this is because you have this fear they might want to copy. Nobody can be like you. It's not possible. Actually, I think it was so naive of me to think so. And I thought to myself, if I was not to live today, what have I left? What trail have I left? I'm going to leave this. I say this, but I think it's really good that somebody can say like Leah is not cooking anymore. Maybe I get to another field. Like now I'm getting into the spices. I don't know how long I'm going to be cooking. I'm not going to stick to it. There are newcomers who are coming in. We might pave way. My son is cooking right now. He told me the other day, Mom, I think I'll take over your cooking business, but I'll do it different. It will be Afro-European fusion. I'll do eggs. You don't do eggs. He was telling me stuff. And I was asking myself, if I had to stop cooking today, what would I have left my clients? Because they love the food. And I thought, why can't you bring up the spices and the book together that they can also cook the meals by themselves? And that's how I came up with the the Leah's Finest Spices. It's a very funny thing because, guys, you can't believe how much we have sold up to now. It's not long. And I think we are going to be doing this until next week. And after that, we can't pack no more spices. We have to give it over to a company that is going to do the mixing according to that, what I wish, because I mix the spices. I got the spices myself. Some we had to crush by ourselves. I got a machine. We do this in a government kitchen. We crush them, mixed them, and I've written the ratios down that I can give them over to the company that will do the mixing and the packing. You can't believe how much spices are being eaten, and I'm so glad that the spices have gotten away to the market out there, that I even have Africans who are embracing them, because, Africans are a little bit skeptical. When we left Kenya, like we in Kenya, we love like Royco. But I was looking at what is in Royco and what we have in our spices, and I can really see this spice thing growing really big. It's going to be global. I'm seeing something really major, and I'm believing it's going to be big. It's going to go
It
far.
will be big for sure. I thank you very much, Leah. I mean, I thank you for the courage to dare to make the difference, and I thank you for the courage to make things look good, professional, still not where you want it to be, but what I am having in my hand is really good. It's professional, and I loved it. I got my spices on Friday. Was it Friday? And on Saturday, I decided to do some cooking with it. And
Cool.
I was so amazed. And when I read all what is in the spices, I said, but this is herbal medicine. This is a pure herbal medicine.
That's
Thank
true.
you very much for daring. But, ma'am, tell us, how did you get up and say, I want to do spices? And then you get the courage to go to Edeka, a German institution, and say, I want to put my product in your shelf. How do you get this courage? Can one buy courage in the market?
No,
Can one buy that from books?
no.
So how did you get yours? How do you train somebody to be courageous? Because at the end of our conversation, it really doesn't make sense if someone don't pick up something and say, you know what, try like this so that you're courageous. Do like this. What what was that thing in you that pushed you so you can go to these people and say, can I put my spices? I have got some good spices. I want to put them in your shop. What was that thing and how did it come about?
This is a very good question, because now I'm going to mention the man of all men. I'm going to mention God. It is Him, because the word reminds me that I'm wonderfully and fearfully made. And
Amen.
yes, anytime I do something, if you watch my first video, it was with Philly Yambo Makora, The Tales of Yambo. I spoke about something. I asked myself, who are these people who live in these big houses? You know, when I was an au pair, I used to push that baby. I loved her so much, but it was in the winter, it was so cold. And I used to see Germans laughing in their homes. And I used to think, will I one day live like these people? These people driving these big cars, who are these people? What do they have that I don't have? And God gave me a chance to just sit with them and listen to them. And I realized they're just people like us.
Mm.
We have even things that are so poor. And I thought, I think I'm unique. But how am I going to let these people know that I'm unique? And I think I used to pray. There are things I prayed for 20 years ago, I don't pray today because they have manifested.
Mm-hmm.
But 20 years ago, I didn't know when they'll manifest. And I used to think every day, why are they not working? I've been praying. But today, I celebrate them. You know, just telling God, I want to be, because the Bible says he's my father. And no time my money comes for Christmas or whatever, he says, Mommy, I want this shoe, maybe because he saw another friend which I don't like, because you saw you do it because you want to have, not because somebody has it. And because I'm the mother and that's the daddy, we do it for him. So God is my father, and the word says that he is in me. That means I'm great. And I just thought to myself, one time I just walked in the supermarket, and every product I saw, I knew there was a company behind that product. And behind every company, there is a founder, and the founder is a person like me. So why can't it not be me? And what I like most is that not many African products are in the shelves. Of course, they're in the African shops, and because the African shops are so kind, they ship in the stuff like you Cameroons. There's a shop in Darmstadt. I went there. The Cameroonian shop, seriously, they put, because now they'll eat like home. You know, how nice is it when you can go to the next supermarket next door? I don't have to travel all the way just because how nice is it when our products can be in a shop next to you? And even for the Germans, because it's not just about us, it's about them too. They are our people. Now we live with them, you know? And I think I stand a chance because it's not too much. How many cities we have in Germany? What supermarket can you tell me there is a product? My spices are not here, but you have them. Where is that where you can see that, you know, that African lady or that African man? Where? And I thought, Leah, you're going to do this. So how Edeka came in, I have to thank the boss of Edeka Winkler. He's a very young man. He's my Rebecca. God has sent him to hold my hand. I can see whenever we were yesterday together.
Hallelujah. I think we are getting into church now. Hallelujah.
I think we all need somebody to hold our hands. We all need people we can look up to, and not people we can look. Of course, even looking down is not bad. Sometimes you lose something and you need to pick it up, and even people behind you to pull them. But you as an individual, I mean, we all have a mission to accomplish. And I think the moment he came to the market, metro, to the supermarket, and got us in the truck, I was with one of our ex-au pairs. We were chatting. She visited me, and he asked me if we could bring the truck to his market. And God works wonders. It was our last day at the metro. And he came to shop a speaker, and I think he had it on the hand, and he came, and I was like, where? And he said, Edeka. And I thought, I call her my daughter, because she's like my daughter. I said, when he left, I said, we'll come. And it was supposed to be the next week. I said, I'm not there. I'm going for holidays for a week. When I come back, I'll start immediately. I only had one truck then. And when he left, we hold our hands and we thanked God. We told him, you knew today was our last day here. When we thought it was the last, you knew it was the beginning of a new adventure. And
hallelujah.
Now, yes, he came at the last minute. And I couldn't hold myself. I called my husband. I said, you can't believe what happened. The boss of Edeka was here, and we are going there. And since I'm there, we bought a second truck. I have a small trolley truck for food, finger food. We are growing. And one time I thought, what? Because we talk like he's a very big man, but you know, when God comes in, you must feel him. You must see him. Whenever I see him, I see God. Yes, I see God. Because he talks to me in a very humble way. And I asked him, could you imagine having my spices in your supermarket? And he looked at them. I gave him a bit of it with some presents from Africa. And he said, of course, why not? And that's how it began. It didn't start with the spices. It started somewhere. Don't despise the humble beginnings. Don't despise the moments when you can be kind to somebody, because you might not know. He might be your Rebecca and you don't know. You might miss that moment because you're waiting for that party you'll go. And even when you go to those parties, you never get to see these big people. They are gathered.
I'm just like, I have to start celebrating some God. Hey, God, now they're up there.
Yeah, you can't see them because they are gathered. But God, when he speaks, and for him to speak, you also have to speak. You also have to show him, I'm ready. Here I am.
Mm.
Yes. And that's what I
Here I
did.
am.
I opened my arms wide and I said, I'm going to be an ambassador for Africa as much as I can, with a lot of love, a lot of fun. And God knows my heart. Everywhere I go, I have to leave a trail. I have to. For the next African sister who will come later, that somebody will think she's like me.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you go somewhere, leave a trail that somebody will like the next African who comes in, and not do something wrong that everybody will try to put this. That's what they do. When we do it slowly by slowly, and also being courageous and speaking it out. If you have a dream, why are you in Germany? Check what the people around you. What are the markets around you? Who are the bakeries around you? You could bring even the stuff you bake, the buff. They don't know it. They have it in their own way. You can try. Ask the market next to you, the bakery. That's what I do. I just look at something and I think, could I have a chance here? When I think, I pray and I go. And that's how the Edeka thing came up. That's how my products are landing in the supermarket. They are going to be there after Valentine's. We are working very hard. We are having a very big campaign for the Valentine's. We want to do a very big sale. And after that, the biggest is to bring our products to Edeka. We need supply. The demand is higher than the supply because of the pandemic. But I know the God who has started this is going to get us through. It's not going to be Edeka alone. I'm aiming big markets, and we will get there. I believe.
And you will get there. You know why?
Amen.
Because you have glorified the name of He who
Yes.
brought you
Amen.
there. And of course, if you are the daughter of the King, then you are fearless. What
Amen.
steps me usually with most Christians is the fact that we are the daughters and sons of the great King who owns the heavens, this everything, and yet we choose somehow, because of lack of courage, to work like slaves. And that's why the conversation today is so important, to know that we can be and do all things through Christ who strengthens
Oh, yes.
us. And that's my colleague and friend Batemona Becker says, when God speaks, all other speakers
Yay. Amen.
become
Mm-hmm.
irrelevant. And Eno says, faith faith speaks
Oh,
on
yes.
our behalf. And we have also, of course, thank you, Bridget. Bridget says, don't despise the
Yeah.
humble
That's
beginnings. And
true.
of course, Bridget also is doing business also, and she's doing some granite sweets. So maybe this is an
Oh,
opportunity to link up all of you doing businesses. I know that Eno Magitu is doing businesses. Why
true.
not link up so that you can be able to do amazing things together?
True.
Because we know that it is only together that we can really represent mightily and achieve those great purposes for which God created us. So get to link up one another. I have a question, ma'am. You know, when you were talking, you said something that really triggered me. I met a young, beautiful, dynamic woman. I observed her for like a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed something in her. I saw a change in her. I saw her transform from one other thing or person to another, and it was a beautiful transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Then I called this lady. That's part of me. I see and I say, hey, this can be good. So I saw it and I said, you know what? People get rich by doing the things they love doing, and not just by just doing anything. And you can be really rich if you decide to do and to give your secret to people. And she said, oh no, Vera, I can't give my secret out. Then I told her that you can't be wealthy and you cannot be rich, because that very thing that you call secret would have been the thing that will bring you money, because not everybody knows, and we can see the transformation. So I like the conversation that you said, hey, I was naive to think that I would keep my secret to myself, and then at the end of the day, when I even go, who will ever remember me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are coming up with a book. It is not just the book. The amazing thing with the book is that you will start teaching people. And there's no bigger business in the world as a business of information and teaching. So everyone, if you really want to make money, get into the business of
Yeah.
teaching and training. That's where money is. Of course, I don't mean that there's no money in sales, because what you are now selling and doing is amazing. But if you can sell what you know, if you can teach what you know and package them well, you get amazingly rich quick too, right? So just to encourage you, you were naive, but now I thank God because
Yeah.
your eyes have opened and you understand.
Yes.
And just know that the book that you have brought out is a book that reveals many things. So, not just the book, use that book as your own modules and create teaching programs whereby you can teach people, and you'll be amazed at the wonders that will come up. So, I'm happy for you. And I also want to encourage someone listening to us here, if you want to make a difference, start teaching people. And someone said this: if you get, give. And if you learn, teach. Now,
Mhm.
ma'am, to you, you've gotten enough. I want you to support the work of Someone Social Service. I know you support other organizations. And I always get to treat the people that are doing businesses and profitable businesses. So, would you mind to be the sponsor of Someone Social Service for 2021?
You can give me more details. I can have a look at that. Why not? I help other people too, and I do
Thank
it
you so
gladly,
very
of
much.
course.
Thank you very much. And that takes me to my next question. How did you discover that you were courageous to do the things you did? How did you discover that that thing is in you, courage is in you to do what you're doing?
When I made the move,
When you made the move, okay.
yes, like
Mm-hmm.
when I came, for the years that I've lived here, I was lucky enough to work for Lufthansa for 8 years. I only spoke English. And
Mm-hmm.
one time I sat and thought, okay, you've been earning money, you've been dressing well, you go to work, you're looking good. But what about learning German? Because you're living here. And I chose to go back to school. And that's when I chose to start not only German, but also the other languages from scratch. Being the only mother in the class, we had 17, 18, 19-year-old people, like Shula students. I remember my husband told me himself, "You're very courageous." And I thought, how? What have I done? I just went back to school. And I think the moment I chose to say I'm having kids now, but I'm not happy, I choose to start afresh. I choose to rename myself. I thought it was courageous of me. And I thought it doesn't just come saying you are courageous. What are you doing about it? I think this move of saying I have chosen to do, I have decided to do, and I'm doing it now. I realized I've made a big step in my life and I felt I was unstoppable. I think this moment where I chose to say I'm starting afresh and I'm going to show them that I can. I wanted to prove myself. And just by saying it wasn't enough,
Mm-hmm.
make the move. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I like this. You wanted to prove yourself. So it's about you and not about others. Thank you
No.
very much. Man, which books do you read and why do you read those books?
The ones that I'm really loving so much at the moment, one of them is this, Soaring Like an Eagle. It's by George Washuri. He's a Kenyan, a Kikuyu, my mother tongue. But the book is really good. Why I like this book is Soaring Like an Eagle. You all know eagles and breaking the chains. Because, I don't know, I sometimes feel there are people who live the way they live because they believe that's how they're supposed to live. Nobody was born with a rubber stamp of, I don't know. You might have been born poor, but you don't have to die poor. But you have to change something for you to be able to live to become that what you're supposed to be. And what I like about this book is just breaking these chains of poverty, something that was maybe destined for you. They say we are cursed. I believe we can break curses, get delivered, and move on. And this book is just about soaring higher and breaking chains. And those are chains of so many things that are just pulling you down and look up. I don't know. It's an inspiring book. I love it. Like defeat. There is no defeat when you read this book. You believe that you are the one who sets your margins. Limitations are self-imposed. Nobody can set for me limitations. There are places you go. You can even have friends who are so manipulative. They just manipulate you. You cannot even dress in a certain way because they'll think you've changed. No. But just standing out and saying, "This is the way I've chosen to be." and this is who I want you to take me. You know, Vera, there are things that always try to disturb me sometimes. You know, maybe you were once a thief and you chose not to steal again. People can't keep calling me a thief. I have to prove to them I don't steal. And because sometimes you might not be able to prove to them you don't steal, maybe you need to go away from these people and go and start up a new life in a place where people never knew you as a thief. For you to grow, you might never grow with people who know too much about you. You know, and this book, it has just so many things that inspire me, really.
Mm.
If you
I just like the way you're putting it there. Tell us, someone said, tell us. I just like the way you put it. You know, if people know you to be a thief,
yeah,
then you have to leave that place so that they don't get to know you. Meaning we have to change our network, change our circle.
of the mindset. Yeah, or maybe you were once a prostitute. You were, but you chose to be married. This is somebody's wife now. You can't keep calling this person names that she used to be. The devil only knows my past. But sometimes I also feel you have to change your atmosphere. When we moved, we sold our house and bought a new place. I kind of felt there's something I left there that I think if I never, I don't know, there's something about movement too. If you feel too stuck in one job and you're not moving, try to think if that job is even making you grow. Maybe you're even stuck there because it's not the right place for you. And even, I don't know, with friends, I sometimes feel like friends pull us way too back, especially in the diaspora. You tend to be with people who don't have dreams. They have, but they don't believe they have. And you having a dream, you might get so much saturated in an atmosphere that is so toxic. And before you realize it, time is up. Diaspora, there's no time to waste. That's why we came here. We didn't come here to waste time. We came here to bring a change. You can either live good here or invest in Africa, because there's no way somebody can say he's in between nowhere. Where are you? You know, there are people who say, I don't have it here, but I have a mansion in Lagos. Okay, it's okay. That's what, you know, you have to have something. Why did you come here? Your mother lives better. Your kids have gone to school. Your nephews and nieces. There's something that you have to do when you're here. That's why I feel really sad when I see people who have gotten lost. Maybe they're depressed because things never worked. Maybe somebody was a doctor in Africa, came here, started doing things but still believe. You might not be a doctor here, but being a doctor might not be everything. Maybe that's not even what you're supposed to be. I never thought myself I'll go and do all these languages and end up cooking and doing spices, but I
love this. I just love this, Leah. I just love this because we have that challenge amongst us. You know, you see people going to school and learning, and then they have the arrow doctors, and then they come out there waiting people to employ them, and then they feel that because I have a doctor title, I'm supposed to have this and this and that. So, and now you're telling us it's not even about what you study.
No.
Courage breaks that out. Time and chance belongs to us all.
Yes.
And therefore, the only thing that really matters here is a courage to be able to dare to do that thing you are envisaging and you're seeing. Powerful. Powerful. Keep the talk going. Powerful. Powerful.
Yeah.
Now, you said the book that you're reading is Soaring Like an Eagle, and I want to guess that that's the animal you desire to be, because that would have been my next question. If you were going to choose to be an animal, which of the animals would you want to be and why?
The eagle.
Why?
It doesn't make too much noise. It never flocks. You know, chicken, they're always together, always hitting one another left, right. They're always doing small things make you mad, you know, because even resilience, with this, you have to have it. You're going to go to heights, you know, and the higher you go, the more the risk, because when you fall, it's crazy, you know, and that's exactly what I would love. Actually, when I was going through the questions, I thought I really don't need to think. Actually, I didn't prepare for any questions that you asked, you know. I was so chill because my story is in my hands. It's my life. That's what I'm going through. I always have it. I can narrate it anywhere. Somebody ask Leah talk, I'll tell them. I think the eagle, resilience, don't want to be, you know, heights don't scare you. I don't fear anything today. I came to realize that since I came to know that greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. I surrounded myself with him, praying to him that anytime I make a move, may I make a move to the direction of his will and not of my will. So there is nothing I fear. I would love to be like an eagle. We have all these small quarrels. There are things I don't do anymore that I did 2 years ago. 2 years is just yesterday, but I don't do them today. Yes. I think I'd like to be
Someone
you.
said a chicken. The idea with the chickens just gathering together,
Yeah, there's too much noise. You quarrel over nothing. You discuss people. There's always some noise going on, and with noise you can't concentrate. And the higher you go, that's a moment of so much silence. And I think with this you can be able to be productive.
That
That
is
moment
true.
of your own. Yeah,
That is true.
yeah,
Amazingly, Leah, the higher you go, the path becomes thin.
yeah.
And when you are down, there's too much noise.
Yes.
Yet, many people choose to be down and not instead soar high, because the path high there is very tiny. So those who are high there, the probability is high that they stay high there,
Yeah.
because we are not many high there. My question to you, ma'am, since we are talking about courage, why do you think people choose to soar down like the chickens and work
It's
together like?
easy. It's easy. It's easy to be like everybody else. It's easy to check, oh, she's wearing this. To the shop, you get it. And it's easy to be like somebody else. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to say, I choose to be different. I choose to be the person that is going to be different from the rest. It takes courage to speak about God. My car is written very big, God is able at the back. It took courage to say that I'm going to speak about this man. He's not everybody does this. People go to places, they want to say, it's my father being a doctor, my mother is rich, my husband has money. No, with our home, nobody has money. God has it all. And if God has it, I have it. That's what I believe. I may not have it with me here, but he has it. And since he's my father, I'm not going to lack. A man who doesn't have money, but the mom is there, so he's not worried because mom is there.
Amen.
I
Amen.
think courage
Amen.
is, people being the same is easy, but choosing to say I want to be different takes courage. And that's the reason why many people choose to be down, because they fear. They fear, if I don't do this, what if it changes? How it's gonna be? But when Leah is doing it, let me do it. You'll be copy pasting. It's easy to do. But when you stand now and say, I want to write a text of my own, it might not be the best, but I'm going to take and say, this is what I want to do. Choose to be a game changer. To be a game changer, you have to be courageous. And you don't need so much. You don't have to invest too much. When you have, I think I'll go back to God. When you have God, there are things that just work automatically. Where did I meet this billionaire? Who brought him to me? Why did he tell me that I think you are a child of God? Why? Who told him? I only had one earring, a big Africa on my ear. I wanted him to know, as that African lady who got lost, didn't know which floor to go, sent somebody, picked me, went to him, he asked me, are you nervous? I said, yes, I am. Why? Because I don't know what's coming up. I'd made a very big mistake. I'd parked my truck in a premise that I was not allowed, and I was reported, and I had to meet the billionaire himself, because he is not a millionaire, he is a billionaire. And I told him, as we are talking right now, my mother is praying in Kenya. My mother is a pastor. And he said to me, tell her not to worry, you are a child of God. He felt it. I didn't tell him. And when I left that office, I said to myself in the lift, from today, I'm not going to fear anymore. If this man, with all the money that he has, told me you are a child of God, and I didn't pay no money, I had no fine. I thought I'll pay fine so much. I believe, choose to be the game changer. Change that what we are going through, all of us. We have kind of a trail that we in the diaspora live, and that's the same trail we all follow. Why? Why? What if 2, 3, 4 people in every city stood up and said, we are going to do this thing differently. We are going to wake up, we are going to check in all these shops around. They have all the products that they get from the German, wherever. What if we brought something new? I'm very sure nobody will chase you if they're like my boss, because I call the Edeka boss my boss. I'm so happy that I call him my boss, because I feel good. He's really doing things that I find, God is my boss, and I believe he's working in this man, and I choose to call him that. I believe nobody will chase you away because you didn't go there by yourself. You first prayed, and when God leads you, he's with you.
When God leads you, He is with you. Thank you so very much, Leah. This has been a very amazing conversation. And like usual, time goes too quick when we have interesting topics and when we have amazing speakers. Someone told me some years back, it's either we be the change or they become the victims of change.
Mhm.
And if we want to be the change, you just said it, then we need courage. And if we want to dare to be different, we need courage. And Angelo Maya said, courage is the only virtue that beats every other virtue.
It's
Ma'am, last word for our people who listening to us. What would you tell a young man, young woman in the diaspora listening to you and say, this woman is talking about courage. She really doesn't know what I'm going through. She doesn't even know I do not have money. She doesn't even know I can't speak the language. She doesn't even know I came from the desert. She doesn't even know I walked from Cameroon to Germany by foot. She doesn't even know that my parents have nothing. And she's there telling me about courage. What is she talking about? This is your time to tell us and to counsel the people that may also listen to you after this.
wow. So somebody out there listening, these are it's hard, but it's also not very hard because we've carried the whole show to here. So this has to be easy. But when you're giving an advice to somebody, it's a little bit, I don't know what I'll tell somebody out there that will make them believe that it's doable. But I just want to ask you, you watching this, that means wherever you are, you have Wi-Fi because you are tuned in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are here because you're alive and I believe you're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself, why are you here today and not there? What
Mm-hmm.
brought you from there to here? That what you brought you from there to here is that what will carry you forward to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Because Vera, I believe just not having money shouldn't kill your courage. Why? Because even to go to the bank takes courage. To say I want to start sewing. I don't know how to put this. This is a bit hard, but I know. I think you need to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You might not have it. We had a lady, it's a story that I have to speak about next month because it's happening in February, end of the month. She had nothing. She didn't even have the papers. They call them papers, but their papers are not happiness. I came to realize papers are not even happiness. I don't know why people die for them and then lose their personality before they get them. She had totally nothing. And next month, she's going to be walking down the aisle with the man of her dreams. Within a span of 12 months, she has got everything that she desired. Everything was way too fast because she took the step of courage. She said, Leah, she's stopping and she's starting. I think you have to come to an end to the current situation if you don't like it, because you could be the problem. The problem begins with us. You are the biggest obstacle to everything ahead of you. How do you see it? And why do you see other people? Of course, I love seeing other people. I celebrate them. But I usually ask myself every time, my husband stops everything and they're watching this one person. I say, this guy is way too far. What am I doing? I can't waste too much time celebrating somebody when I'm down. I think, what could I do? Sometimes in the night, I wake up, maybe 3, I pray. And after that, I think, now that I'm not sleeping and I'm not feeling like I'll sleep, what will I do? I can't just sit there and gaze at the ceiling. How? I'll write an email. I'll check what spices are being offered, what are inside there. I'll take a step to want to change something that when I wake up, remember you only have a certain number of hours in a day. Ask yourself every day, what did I do with my hours? If you realize you're having the same question every day, you have to start with your own self. The problem is you. Make a move. If it's that language, be courageous enough and say, okay, I don't speak the language, but I want to. Be courageous enough and register yourself. And if you don't have money to go to a school, maybe you can do YouTube University. It helped me. I think I'll just encourage you and say it lies within and it is in you.
Wow. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're
It
the master.
lies within and it is in you. There's no better way to conclude the show of today. And I want to appreciate my parents watching from Cameroon. Thank you, Dad. And he says, it is powerful and I am blessed. I appreciate you, Dad, and I appreciate you, Mom. My mom is also watching right so from Cameroon. I appreciate you all. So keep sharing the
Right.
link. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much. And Leah, you're going to receive also a certificate from us, a recognition as the businesswoman of the week, because we think that those who dare to do and courageous enough to do little things but in a fine way deserve to be honored. And so that is our way to recognize you as a powerful person and as a woman that wants to bring change in the community. We appreciate you, and we know you are there to be like a teacher. And like someone said, if you learn, teach. If you have, give. Thank you very much for being my guest today, Leah. We
Thank you
stay
so
in
much.
touch. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our conversation today. Remember, next week we are having another powerful conversation. And Monday, do not forget to tune in to the debate. If you want to do a cassava business or farming, in Africa, make sure you tune to learn more about agriculture. Tuesday is going to be another wonderful conversation. And remember, the last conversation on Tuesday was amazing. And of course, Thursday, we're going to come up again also with the racism talk. And on Sunday is again another business conversation like that of today. I leave you to be safe and take good care of yourself. Thank you for being my guest. Remember to share the links with friends and encourage someone to subscribe to our Facebook pages or again to the YouTube pages. We are because you are. God bless you and I love you. Bye bye.